Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Dylan McAvoy recast twist. Will Sharon's ex-hubby and Nikki's son return? Steve Burton's character Dylan McAvoy remade twist. Is the son of Sharon Newman and Nikki Newman coming back? When Dylan went into witness protection in 2017, Steve Burton left the show. However, maybe the threat will be resolved and Dylan will be able to return to Genoa City. Fans have been guessing who GH and One Life to Live star Roger Howarth would play since he joined Y&R in an enigmatic role. Given how quiet the show is about it, it's likely that Howarth is portraying a significant character. Howarth might take over a well-known position in GC with several ties. Howarth might be a recast of Tucker McCall, but it's best to think about other possibilities until the show confirms his role. While there have been rumors on social media that Howarth would take up Tucker's post, another widely accepted notion has also surfaced. It's intriguing to consider the notion that Howarth is portraying a Dylan recast, as some fans believe. It would be good for her to get back in touch with Dylan, who is the son of Nikki and Paul Williams, following his absence. Since Dylan is, of course, also Sharon's ex-husband, she may have a chance to rekindle her love for him. If Dylan returns to the scene, we could envision some epic love triangle drama as Nick Newman becomes closer to Sharon once more. If Dylan ends up coming back, Nick might battle his half-brother for Sharon's affections. A Dylan recast could be played by someone else, even if Howarth isn't the one playing him. There may be more cast additions in the works, as Michelle Stafford suggested on Instagram that there will be more surprises in store. Do you think Dylan should return to Genoa City in some capacity? Would Roger Howarth be a suitable Dylan recast, in your opinion, or should another actor be cast in the role? Dylan McAvoy recast twist. Will Sharon's ex-hubby and Nikki's son return? The buzz around Genoa City has been heating up once again, and this time the whispers are circling around one of the Young and the Restless most intriguing characters of the last decade, Dylan McAvoy. Originally portrayed by the ever-talented Steve Burton, Dylan's storyline came to an abrupt yet dramatic close in 2017 when he was whisked away into witness protection following a dangerous undercover mission that left him vulnerable to retaliation from drug lords and criminal organizations. At the time, fans were devastated, not only because Dylan had become an integral part of Sharon Newman's life as her husband, but also because of the emotional ties he carried as the long-lost son of Nikki Newman and Paul Williams. That shocking paternity twist had given Dylan a rich family connection to Genoa City royalty, and when he left, many viewers felt as if a golden opportunity for explosive storytelling had been cut short. Yet, as daytime television always reminds us, no departure is truly permanent, and rumors of Dylan's return have once again taken center stage. The chatter began swirling more intensely when soap veteran Roger Howarth, best known for his work on General Hospital as Franco Baldwin and later Austin Gatlin Holt, joined Y&R in a mysterious role. Fans immediately began to speculate. Was Howarth stepping into a brand new character, or was he being positioned to take over a legacy role that demanded a strong performer with gravitas and range? While some insiders suggested Tucker McCall might be the role in question, many fans on social media have latched onto an even juicier theory. Roger Howarth could be stepping into the shoes of Dylan McAvoy in a recast twist that would shake up the entire canvas. It isn't hard to see why this theory has gained traction. Dylan's absence has always been described as unfinished business. Sharon has moved on in fits and starts since his exit, yet the memory of their marriage still lingers. Their bond was unique in that Dylan truly accepted Sharon for who she was, even during her most turbulent struggles with mental health, and he played a pivotal role in supporting her during the infamous baby swap saga where Sharon unknowingly bonded with a child that wasn't hers. Dylan's compassion and ability to see Sharon's vulnerabilities as strengths endeared him to both her and the audience, making their separation feel all the more tragic. If Dylan were to resurface now, after nearly 8 years away, the timing would be almost poetic. Sharon has recently been inching closer once again to Nick Newman, her first great love and Dylan's half-brother through their mother Nikki. Bringing Dylan back into the mix would instantly create a triangle steeped in history, family conflict, and unresolved passion. Exactly the kind of combustible drama that keeps Y&R fans glued to their screens. Imagine the fireworks if Dylan were to step foot in Crimson Lights one evening, Sharon dropping a tray of coffee mugs in shock as she sees the man she once thought she'd lost forever. Nick, fiercely protective and equally possessive, would bristle at the thought of his half-brother reclaiming Sharon's heart. Meanwhile, Nikki herself would be thrust into an emotional whirlwind, torn between relief at seeing her son alive and the inevitable chaos his presence would bring to her already complicated family. Roger Howarth, if indeed cast in this role, would bring his trademark intensity to Dylan's quieter stoicism. While Steve Burton portrayed Dylan as a disciplined ex-soldier with a calm, dependable demeanor, Howarth could add new shades, perhaps a hardened edge from years of living under assumed identities, or even a darker side born from the trauma of constant danger. Soap operas thrive on evolution, and Dylan's return would not need to be a simple rehash of old dynamics. It could reinvent the character for a new era while still honoring the history that fans hold dear. Furthermore, Howarth's history of playing complicated men who straddle the line between vulnerability and volatility would serve Dylan's story well. He could arrive in Genoa City carrying secrets from his years away, perhaps unfinished business from witness protection, or enemies who have tracked him down, threatening not only his life but the safety of those he loves. This would give the show the opportunity to blend romance with thriller elements, carving out a high-stakes storyline that doesn't just focus on love triangles but also on the danger Dylan brings with him. Of course, speculation remains divided. Some fans argue that Dylan's return should not be a recast at all, but rather a comeback for Steve Burton himself. With Burton now free from his General Hospital obligations, there's always the possibility he could reprise the role he helped define. Yet, Y&R has remained tight-lipped, refusing to confirm or deny anything, which only fuels further speculation. Michelle Stafford even hinted on social media that big surprises were in store for the cast and storylines, leading many to believe that something as monumental as a Dylan return could be on the horizon. Still, even if Burton does not return, the notion of a Dylan recast opens fascinating doors. Y&R has a long history of successfully recasting legacy roles, from Billy Abbott to Adam Newman, with each actor bringing a distinct spin that reinvigorates the character. A recast Dylan could follow that same path, injecting new energy while preserving his emotional core. But beyond casting, the narrative possibilities are endless. Dylan returning to Genoa City would not only impact Sharon and Nick but ripple across multiple families. Paul Williams, though now absent from the canvas, remains Dylan's father, and even a simple mention of Paul's reaction could honor that legacy. Nikki, who has had her hands full managing Victor Newman's empire and her children's frequent battles, would suddenly face the emotional reckoning of reuniting with a son she had to give up decades earlier. Dylan's presence could challenge her loyalties, especially if his return stirs up old wounds between her and Paul, or reignites conflict with Victor, who may see Dylan as a threat to the Newman dynasty. Victor, ever the patriarch, might bristle at Dylan's independence and his potential bond with Sharon, particularly if it complicates Nick's happiness. Meanwhile, Sharon's daughter Mariah could be wary of Dylan's reappearance, recalling how his undercover mission nearly destroyed their family, while Faith might be curious about the stepfather she barely remembers. Even Chance Chancellor, another law enforcement hero in town, could clash or connect with Dylan over their shared sense of duty and military backgrounds, potentially forming a partnership or rivalry. In terms of romance, Dylan's return has the power to reignite old flames and spark new ones. Sharon may find herself torn between the stability Dylan once offered and the enduring bond she shares with Nick. Phyllis, always looking for ways to destabilize Sharon, could attempt to manipulate Dylan's vulnerabilities, perhaps even flirting with him to stir jealousy. Chelsea, currently navigating her own struggles with identity and relationships, might find an unexpected connection with Dylan, creating yet another ripple in the town's romantic landscape. And let's not forget that Dylan's absence leaves room for dramatic twists. Could he have secretly started another family while away, only to return with a wife or child in tow? Such a revelation would shatter Sharon's hopes for reconciliation while providing a fresh storyline with endless drama. The larger question is whether Genoa City itself is ready for Dylan's return. Soap operas thrive on nostalgia, but they also demand forward momentum. Bringing Dylan back, whether through Steve Burton or Roger Howarth, would satisfy longtime viewers who crave closure while also introducing new conflicts that tie into current arcs. It would be a move that honors history while propelling the show into fresh territory. For Sharon, who has often been defined by her relationships with men, Dylan's reappearance would give her the chance to reclaim her agency, choosing between past loves rather than being passively swept along. For Nikki, It would reopen one of the most emotional chapters of her life, testing her resilience as a mother. For Nick, it would pose a direct challenge to his happiness and force him to confront his own insecurities. And for the audience, it would be a reminder that in the world of daytime drama, the past is never truly gone. It's merely waiting for the perfect moment to return. Ultimately, the question remains, should Dylan McAvoy return to Genoa City? If so, should he be recast with Roger Howarth, or should another actor take the mantle? The beauty of this speculation is that it proves Dylan still matters. Nearly a decade after his exit, fans are still invested in his story, still yearning for resolution, still imagining what could happen if he walked back into the Newman ranch or Sharon's coffee house. That enduring interest speaks volumes about the character's importance and the actor's impact. Whether it's Howarth, Burton, or someone entirely new, the reintroduction of Dylan could be one of the most thrilling moves Y&R makes in years, shaking up families, romances, and rivalries in ways that no other return could. Genoa City is a town built on secrets, betrayals, and second chances, and if anyone deserves another chance to reclaim his place in the spotlight, it's Dylan McAvoy. If we peel back the layers of this Dylan McAvoy recast twist, what becomes strikingly clear is that his potential return is not just about bringing back another character to the canvas. It's about reigniting a dormant storyline thread that still has the power to electrify Y&R's core families. Dylan was never a throwaway character. His story was carefully woven into the Newman fabric through Nikki, tied to the Williams family through Paul, and grounded in the everyday struggles of Sharon's life. That trifecta of connection means Dylan's reintroduction could impact 3 legacy lines simultaneously, a rare feat even by soap standards. Consider the possibilities if Roger Howarth were indeed cast as Dylan. Howarth brings a storied career filled with complex, layered roles. He's played tortured souls, morally ambiguous antiheroes, and romantic leads with equal skill. The thought of him stepping into Dylan's shoes offers a tantalizing vision of a man changed by time, hardened by survival, and perhaps even questioning his identity after years of living under aliases. When Dylan left Genoa City in 2017, he was still, at his core, a soldier-turned-detective with a quiet sense of integrity. But a man forced to vanish for nearly a decade, stripped of his home, his family, and his sense of belonging, would undoubtedly return carrying scars, both emotional and perhaps even physical. Imagine Dylan's first encounter back in town, not with Sharon or Nick, but with Nikki. She has lived years trying to balance her love for her children with her loyalty to Victor, often putting herself second to the needs of her family. To have her lost son suddenly reappear would shatter her carefully constructed world. The flood of maternal guilt, the joy of seeing him alive, and the terror of what danger he might still be running from could propel Nikki into a central storyline that highlights Melody Thomas Scott's dramatic range. This could even drive a wedge in her marriage to Victor. After all, Victor has never been known for his tolerance of outside threats or divided loyalties. Would Victor accept Dylan as a true Newman son, or would he attempt to control him, fold him into the Newman empire, and thus ignite conflict? Dylan's very presence could threaten the Newman hierarchy, especially if Victor senses that Nikki's attention and devotion are shifting. And what of Nick, caught between his mother's joy and his own jealousy at seeing his half-brother reconnected with Sharon? The layered family dynamics alone could sustain months of compelling story. Sharon, however, remains the emotional epicenter of this potential return. Her love life has often been portrayed as cyclical, revolving around Nick, Adam, Ray, and Dylan. Bringing Dylan back offers Sharon something she hasn't had in years, a choice rooted in her past, but reshaped by her present. Sharon is no longer the same woman she was when Dylan left. She has endured Ray's tragic death, Adam's manipulations, and Nick's push-and-pull love. She has emerged as a stronger, more grounded individual, running her coffee house and supporting her family while navigating her own healing. Seeing Dylan again could reignite memories of a time when she felt secure, when someone loved her without judgment. But would the Dylan of 2025 still be that man? Or would Sharon find herself staring into the eyes of a stranger who looks like her husband but carries the weight of an entirely different life? This tension, between nostalgia and reality, could produce some of the richest material Sharon case has played in years. If Dylan has been hardened by his years away, Sharon may struggle to reconcile her memory of their love with the man he has become. And if Roger Howarth plays Dylan with a darker, more conflicted edge, Sharon's instincts to save him could resurface, potentially dragging her into danger. Meanwhile, the ripple effects of Dylan's reappearance would not stop at the Newman or Sharon storylines. Consider Abby Newman, Nikki's daughter and Dylan's half-sister. Abby has built her life around stability, running society, and trying to provide her son Dominic with a secure upbringing. The return of her half-brother could destabilize her, particularly if Dylan carries secrets that put the family at risk. Abby might welcome Dylan with open arms, eager to build a sibling bond, but the presence of danger could make her reconsider. Then there's Adam Newman, who would undoubtedly bristle at another sibling added to the Newman dynasty. Adam has always struggled with feeling like the outsider in Victor's eyes, and Dylan's re-emergence could only intensify that sense of rivalry. Would Adam and Dylan clash over family loyalty, or could they form an unlikely alliance, bonded by their shared outsider status? From a broader canvas perspective, Dylan's background as a law enforcement officer could create natural intersections with Genoa City's current power players. Chance Chancellor, already in law enforcement and struggling with his own post-traumatic stress, might find in Dylan a kindred spirit, or a rival. Their similarities could draw them together as allies, tackling dangerous investigations side by side. On the other hand, Dylan's possible involvement with federal agencies could put him at odds with Chance's more localized work, creating professional friction. Imagine a storyline where Dylan's return isn't just about rekindling romance or family ties but also about a case that directly ties into the lives of the Abbotts, Newmans, or even the Winters family. A criminal syndicate following Dylan to Genoa City could threaten the town, forcing multiple families to band together in unexpected alliances. Let's not ignore the romantic shakeups Dylan could cause beyond Sharon. Soap operas thrive on unexpected pairings, and Dylan's return offers fertile ground. If Sharon hesitates to open her heart to him again, Dylan might find himself drawn to someone else in town. Chelsea Lawson, always searching for stability while battling her own demons, could find comfort in Dylan's quiet strength. Their pairing would be explosive. Sharon and Chelsea have clashed repeatedly, and the thought of Dylan choosing Chelsea could ignite a new round of rivalry. Phyllis Summers, perpetually looking for ways to insert herself into Newman drama, might flirt with Dylan as a way to needle Sharon or even to distract herself from her own chaotic love life. Victoria Newman, too, could become a possibility. As Dylan's half-sister through Nikki, any romantic entanglement would be off the table, but their sibling bond, or lack thereof, could spark storylines about loyalty, trust, and the struggle to define one's place in the Newman family. The practical question of recasting also deserves attention. While many fans are excited by the idea of Roger Howarth, some argue that Dylan's essence is so tightly tied to Steve Burton's original portrayal that only Burton can do justice to the role. Recasting is always a gamble in soaps. The audience must accept not only a new face but also a potentially new interpretation of a beloved character. Yet Y&R has a proven track record of successful recasts. Billy Abbott, once portrayed by Billy Miller and now by Jason Thompson, has thrived in his new iteration, with the audience embracing Thompson's unique take. Adam Newman, too, has seen multiple actors bring him to life, each leaving their mark. Dylan could follow this pattern, particularly if the writing leans into the idea that his years away have fundamentally changed him. Instead of pretending he's the same man Sharon once knew, the show could embrace the evolution, allowing a recast to feel natural. Roger Howarth's style, intense, brooding, with flashes of vulnerability, would lend itself perfectly to a man who has been reshaped by years of hardship. Another intriguing layer is the possibility of Dylan not returning alone. Witness protection could have forced him into a life where he needed to form new attachments. What if Dylan returns with a wife, or even a child? A secret family would upend everything. Sharon's hopes of rekindling their love would be crushed, and Nikki would face the bittersweet reality of gaining not just her son back but also a daughter-in-law and grandchild she never knew existed. The arrival of a new family unit could spark tensions among the Newmans, as Victor might view